You've heard that saying, the kids say the darndest of things, and that is essentially what it was like covering Brock Purdy at his recent youth football camp. Obviously, there were so many kids. I would say over 650 kids attended this camp, and it was absolutely hilarious. Some of the things that these kids said to them. But there was a segment at the end of the camp where Brock Purdy would call out kids of the giant pool, and they would come up. He would hand them the microphone, and then they would ask him a question. Well, first of all, the questions that were asked to him were absolutely hilarious. Questions that you wouldn't imagine an NFL quarterback being asked, but because it's kids, they got no filter and they're going to let these questions fly. So take a listen to some of these hilarious questions that were asked to Brock Purdy at this camp, and then we're going to react to it on the other side.
What question you got?
Do you think we're going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I'll promise that we're going to work our hardest to do that. So that's all it is. Great question.
Let's go.
Yep.
I love you, Purdy.
Love you too. You got a question? You want to ask a question?
What would you rank yourself on the top 10 QBs?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's a great question. I'm going to go different directions. We've got a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL, so. Let's go. Pink glove. Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes.
You got to follow directions.
Is the NFL scripted?
No, the NFL is not scripted. Good question.
First of all, I've talked about it a bunch of times when discussing this camp. Brock Purdy's absolutely phenomenal with these kids. Just everything just seems so effortless and so seamless and genuine engagement with them. And I heard from so many kids talking about how this was one of the best days of their lives. I remember walking out to the parking lot, and this one kid was like, "Mom, Dad, thank you so much for taking me. This was the best day of my life." Kids love this event. They really, really did, but it was absolutely hilarious. Is the NFL scripted? And it's funny because that's become such like a meme or a topic that's discussed around the NFL. And whether you believe it or not, it's still hilarious that Brock was actually asked this question. And I thought he did a phenomenal job of just, no, the NFL is not scripted. And also, I thought the other great question was, are you a top, where would you rank yourself in the top 10 quarterbacks? And again, as someone who does content for the San Francisco 49ers, that was one of the biggest hot button topics of last season with all the talking heads, right? They're constantly trying to rank where Brock Purdy was. And we even had a guy, Steven Ruiz of The Ringer, who had Brock Purdy ranked like in the mid 20s, like 20. He started at 32 and Brock maybe worked his way up to 20, 21 by the end of the season. And he was famous in saying that if Brock Purdy ended up in the top 10, you could do his quarterback rankings next year. And it's obvious Brock Purdy was a top 10 quarterback last year. He was an MVP frontrunner for a good portion of that season. So, yes, Brock Purdy was a top 10 quarterback last year. But I also thought he did a good job of not taking the bait and just kind of, you know what, I'm going to go in a different route. And I'm just going to say there's a lot of really good quarterbacks in this league. A total CEO answer right there. Well done by Brock. Because if he would have said, "Oh, I'm top 6," oh, that would be debated for the next week and a half until the NFL draft starts if he actually ranked himself. So he's a smart man. He understands the current state of media, what to say, what not to say, and again, just further solidifies like he's mature and wise beyond his years and handled the situation perfectly well. He didn't minimize the kid by being like, like, oh, why would you ask me that? Blah blah. Like he did a really good job of just good question. Uh, you know, taking a different route of it. But again, it was funny, man. It was funny walking around because shadowing Brock for like 4 hours, you hear what all the kids are yelling at him. And they're talking about Mahomes, they're talking about Anna Fry, they're just anything you could think of was shouted at Brock Purdy from a little kid's perspective at that camp. And it was absolutely hilarious. But what do you guys think about the line of questioning, all that stuff? Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.